Hey, buddy. This is Stuff. You guys should meet each other. A couple of green guys holding it down. You're going to be working together here in Orlando. It's going to be exciting, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you out on the court and what you can bring. Hey, man, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Ish?
Hey, well, we just signed Grogu, and I'm just introducing him to Stuff and getting him ready to be a part of the team here in Orlando.
Dude, we signed Goga, not Grogu.
Oh, did you say Boba? Boba Fett? That guy from Sharpshooter from Distance. He's got the goods, my friend.
Goga Bieditse. He's from Sagarejo, Georgia, dude.
Now, where's that at? Somewhere in the Outer Rim, or I'm not familiar with that.
Welcome, everybody, to Court Cousins, episode 39. My name is Kyle. I'm joined, as always, by my lovely co-host, my cousin, Jason the Peach.
I'm long, I'm strong, and I'm down to get the Florida on.
Ooh, we will be, and we will touch on that later. But let me first let you know what's going to run down in this show. As always, we're going to check in with each other for the Chuma Are You Okay check-in. We're going to have an engorged extendo edition of the social media roundup.
Also long and strong.
Yes, indeed. Then we have a very, very special edition of Fill in the Blank with master wordsmith, none other than Khobi Price from the Orlando Sentinel. So make sure you check that out later on. We will review what's going on with the Court Cousins Championship. And don't go away. Don't go anywhere, knuckleheads, because that large ending is coming up.
It's grand.
Before any of that hilarity and hijinks, we need to give a shout out to all of our all-stars and second cousins on the Patreon. They're the ones that really make this show go. So shout out to Omid, Raphael, Breadhead, Al, Matthew, Dan Young, Yachty, Bernie Piche, Gloria and Damien, Connor, and the Polish Wonder.
Court Cousins, come on down. You're the next podcast to interview Khobi Price.
Amazing. And I do need to give a really special shout out now.
Yes.
After all of those shout outs. Because our boy Jay, Magic Player History, recently up to the all-star level, and I forgot to shout him out last time too.
Oh, no.
That was on me. And
Come on, we've had this man on the show like 3 times.
He's the dude. So if you haven't, make sure you check out Magic Player History on Twitter and Instagram. Go check out the YouTube. He does amazing history rundowns of all these different players who have donned the pinstripes for the Orlando Magic, really in depth from, their college days to all the time that they play with the Magic.
If you're ever thinking to yourself, man, I wonder if anyone's ever done this about the Orlando Magic. It has been done. He's done it. Yeah. Save yourself the trouble.
Go check it out. Orlando Magic Player History. Love you, Jay. Thanks, homie. And just a little bit more housekeeping here, Peach, and then we'll get right in. I want to know how you're doing.
Housekeeping?
I fluff your pillow. We're gonna stop.
I'm not going to do the next one.
Okay, I didn't know how far we were going to go. It's early. We still don't know who's watching. All right, so Court Cousins night. It's Thursday. It's next Thursday. The next home game is Court Cousins night. We're going to be there. We're going to be down there with all you second cousins. Can't freaking wait. It's pretty close to sold out, but you can check. There might be some more tickets. Fevo.me/Court Cousins. If they are, I think Jess, our ticket guy, released some more in the lower bowl. So, we won't all be sitting together, but we all are getting the group seat discount. So that's a reason to check it out. You're going to be in all the raffles and giveaways that we have. Jess has told us he's given us 2 free tickets to give away to a future game. So we're going to go on the court after, cut down the nets. It's just going to be a good time.
What do you need here?
Yeah.
You'd probably go to the game anyway.
Right.
Get in on this sweet deal.
Yeah.
I wonder if Jess was like, oh, man, these guys sold way more tickets than we thought.
It's going to be a good group. I was at first nervous that no one was going to come because no one likes me. And now we've got a good group. We've got, I think, 20 plus people coming. So now I'm nervous, oh, man, I hope everyone has a good time. But that's just me.
You could, if you want, you can still be worried that no one likes you.
Okay.
Because maybe they're coming for me.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll go back to that. I like that better, I think.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Everybody loves you.
Well, these people are going to love me because I'm announcing winners for the ticket giveaways.
Hey-o.
So we had 4 tickets that we were giving away. 2 to the General Pop second cousins, and then 2 to our elite Patreons. So the winner for the ticket giveaway on episode 38 is none other than Cassian96. Congratulations. Please send us an email, courtcousinsnba@gmail.com, Cassian, so we can get in contact with you and make sure you get those tickies. And shout out to Mr. TV on our Patreon. He won the Patreon giveaway, so we'll be seeing you down there, sir. Can't wait for that. We've mentioned the Patreon a couple times. For as little as $5, you can get on there. Check out some of the outtakes that we do, which are, in my opinion, I think the funniest stuff that we have doesn't even make it onto the show.
I mean,
sometimes.
you guys have watched movies before, and then you stay tuned and you see those outtakes on there, and you're always like, oh man, these are funny, or why didn't they keep that in? Well,
Yeah.
here you go.
Yeah. Well, the reason we didn't put it in is because we thought YouTube would ban us. So
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes. We even talked about that a little on the most recent one.
Yep. There's lots of nipple talk. Yep. So go check that out. And we also, on the Patreon, we're always asking for input from our patrons, things that go into the show. There's a couple things today that have been input from patrons. So if you're looking to be a little bit closer to the show and have some input and see some more exclusive content, go over to the Patreon. And Peesh, we just opened up the YouTube membership program, which is just $1.99.
Right.
They get you get a sticker next to your name, depending on how long you've been a member, and that's just kind of like a hey, thank you for what you're doing. Here's
Sure.
$2 a month if you can spare it.
It's like third cousin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that's just for people showing some love. So we appreciate. All you got to do for that is you click the little join on the homepage. Maybe even under this video, there's a join button that will give you the YouTube membership info.
I think it's over there.
Yeah, go check it out. Press that. Press it right now. Right now. All right. So now let's get into our first little segment. We're cousins. We love each other. And we want to, see how each other's doing. It's important to check in with your people out there, ladies and gentlemen. Check in with your family, your friends, see how they're doing, how they're feeling. So we like to do it here based on our beloved Orlando Magic player, Chuma Okay. So how are you doing, sir, for the Chuma Are You Okay check-in?
All right. Well, you always do a lot of talking to start the show.
Yep.
So sit right back and I'll tell you a tale. We've got my first slide of a series of 3. Buckle up. This is Chuma Okeke from the NBA 2K game. Okay. Sorry. You can see here I've also listed this as Peach and Winter rating. I've also included these 2 graphics here. Actually, just to be quite honest, as we always do on the show, the graphic on the left, it bothers me. I one time cried at a Zoloft commercial that was similar to this. There's something about that image that really strikes a chord with me, and I do not like it. But it is okay to not be okay sometimes. I've kind of, over my years, realized that there's seasonal depression is a thing, and I just try to do my best to try to get through it. It's not an enjoyable time of the year, but it's almost over, which kind of takes me over to slide number 2. You see on this first one, Chuma's a 72 there.
Yeah.
On the second one, we've got Court Cousins in the background, little fireworks coming out of the corner there.
That's exciting.
Hey, dynamic ratings up to 78.
Ooh.
So I bring it for the show, even this guy in a 78, every once in a while he'll hit 3 or 4 threes in a row and seem like an 80, he's going, but that's the Peach Winter Court Cousins rating. So when we're doing the show, steps it up a little bit, which is nice.
I feel you.
It's nice to feel a little bit more like yourself during a time when you may not.
Got it.
Now, slide number 3. It's Peach in Orlando on vacation rating. As you can see, it is swelled up to 91.
Engorged
indeed, my friend. And as you can see, we're leveling up. I've got Florida graphics here. We're let's go. We're everywhere. It's a party. It's going to be a good time. I'm looking forward to it. I don't look forward to a lot of things. I think you'll agree. You've seen me. I don't get too excited about a lot of
You're
stuff.
an even keel type of dude.
Super excited about this. As we record, we are a week away from actual Court Cousins night, and that is exciting to me. So I'm amped in general, but that's my little journey through.
Yeah.
And now I pose to you, how are you feeling for the Chuma Are You Okay check-in?
I appreciate it. I'm kind of taking your theme that I'm seeing of just the normal ups and downs of life. You're not always a 91. Sometimes you're that 71, that 78.
Yep.
And that's okay. And that's understandable. And I'm willing to listen or to hold that container when you need it. And I'm kind of the same way. I brought back an oldie and a goodie.
Oh.
We've got the growth flower there on the left. And Chuma there, he's coming out of the rain, but he's moving towards the growth flower.
Okay.
So I'll tell you a little story. You know, you told me one, I'll tell you one, Pish. So today I've been doing some grieving. Not grieving for a deceased relative or anyone like that, thank the heavens, but grieving because maybe some of you can relate to this. I go through life developing an idea of a person who is going to be maybe a partner for me, right? Of my ideal lady. And today I kind of came face to face with the reality that something that's really important to me in my life and something that I value very highly is not something that my lady values or something that she's really interested in. And I think I was holding out hope that maybe I could, you know, sway her to it or influence her to it, as you do in many new relationships. Maybe I'm trying to mold her a little bit, which isn't fair. But I think today it really struck me that, like, yeah, no, this isn't something that she's enjoys at all. And so what I'm grieving is that idea of the partner that I had in my head that I'm not going to have that.
Right.
You know, and so that was kind of tough to take. And I think at previous points in my life, I've run from relationships when someone didn't fit inside that box that I had in my mind. But I'm feeling, and here's the growth flower. I've been doing, you know, the work in therapy and work with her, going through some relationship therapy stuff where it's like we can communicate about it. And I can move through that grief, as I talked about in our previous episode. I cried a little bit today, just feeling that sadness, feeling that grief. And now I'm feeling much better. Like, we took a walk, we talked about it, you know, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, had a little bit of that fun time. And we're good. And I'm accepting that. And I love her for so many other aspects of what she brings to the relationship. And that's okay. That, like, I'm not her perfect man by any means either. You know, so that was a little rough for me, but the growth flower is here, and I'm just happy that we can see each other for who we truly are and appreciate it and move on, because she's tremendous. I mean, among her many awesome qualities that pertain to this show, she loves watching the Orlando Magic.
She genuinely likes watching the Orlando Magic now. Yes.
So, I mean, that is amazing. She's always asking about the Magic games. Is there she asked me if there's a Magic game today, and she was like, "Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, All-Star break."
Yeah. See, a lot of guys, they don't get that part, right. So they'd be willing to bend on the other parts if they could share that one thing. So you know, you gotta appreciate the good stuff, and you know, you're gonna have some stuff that's not gonna be there. It's
right. And
if you continuously always try to make sure everybody fits every category, you're not going to have anybody. If you're looking for somebody to fill that box, the box will be empty.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, that's
why my box is empty.
Yeah. Well, is that you relate to that, huh?
Well, a little.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm not ready to just like be with somebody who doesn't.
It's both. It's both.
Like we have to have a good.
You've got to have. There are certain things that are probably what do they call it? Like no fly, like unbreakable. You need certain things that people need in a relationship.
Yeah.
But then there's other things that it's like, all right, that's got to be negotiable,
right.
and maybe it
Deal
doesn't
breakers,
fit.
They're called, yeah.
Oh, that's what I was looking for, and maybe it doesn't fit what I had, but. You know, I've learned at this point now that I'm 35 and having run from multiple other relationships with objectively wonderful women, that I will end up in this exact same spot 2 or 3 years from now if I were to leave this relationship, and it'll just be something else. It won't be this issue. It'll be a different issue, because that's what happened in my previous relationship. So I'm happy that I'm in this growth, and maybe that resonates with some of you out there.
That's the circle of life.
Yep.
That's what Elton John was singing about.
Wait, he did that? That was him?
Elton John, yeah.
Did the Circle of Life song? Like the Lion King
for the
song?
Lion King, yeah.
I fucking love Sir Ellen, man. I didn't even know that about him.
Okay.
Saturday.
Yeah, he has 2 songs on that soundtrack that are pretty good.
Oh, man, he is unbelievable. That's one of my big regrets. I haven't seen that guy live, and I really want to.
All right. I mean, we could go off on it more, but then it wouldn't be an Orlando Magic podcast. So.
All right, let's get back to the Orlando Magic. This is not a relationship therapy podcast or an Elton John podcast.
Let's get to an engorged social media roundup.
An Orlando Magic or engorged podcast or social media roundup. We're not doing what I learned today. We've got Khobi Price coming on the show later. We've got a great conversation with him.
Yeah.
If you're looking for more game-by-game rundowns, check out the reaction videos that we've been posting. That's kind of new to the pod. So what I learned, sometimes if Peach doesn't feel like he has enough new ideas.
Look, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about it in Social Media Roundup. We're going to talk about it with Khobi Price.
Yeah.
So there's no point in giving you a table of contents right at the top of the show. You know.
All right. So
let's just do it.
Let's get right into it. Social Media Roundup, baby. This one here, let's start off with a Magic new addition. And we've got to give some props to Malik from the Close Up Magic for calling this one.
Yes.
After quoting and retweeting a tweet from Khobi Price after the Orlando Magic waived Terrence Ross and Patrick Beverley, Malik writes, if he's willing to accept a role as a development center who likely won't play behind WCJ and Moritz, and even J.I., Chuma, and Bowl, then recently waived Goga Biadice, I'm still not sure how to say the gentleman's name yet, would make sense for the Magic to sign in one of their empty roster spots as a 23-year-old former first-round pick. And lo and behold, it happened. And so not too much later, a day later, in fact, Khobi Price again tweeting, news, the Orlando Magic have signed former Indiana Pacers big Goga Biadice, and Malik writes a quote from the classic White Man Can't Jump. The sun shines on even a dog's ass once in a while. And
I'm interested to find out how Khobi gets this information. Stay tuned for that.
Yes, that's in our conversation.
This is the equivalent of pointing to center field and then just hammering one deep.
He called it.
So, you know, this happens. So there's tons of people out there making suggestions. At one point, I even suggested we trade for Pat Bev. I'm not here to get my flowers because we didn't keep him. But like everybody starts throwing out names. Someone's going to be right. Yeah. This one was right on. And it does sound like a decent fit. It's the big man everybody's been looking for, right? That to just do big man stuff. He's just a European big doing European big things. So could be the piece we need.
And as Timothy Hames lets us know, we signed the GOAT in this hilarious image of like it's draft day and Goga is sitting next to Zion Williamson at media day, and it is a herd of people around Zion, and Goga this looks so lonely. His table is completely alone.
Why they got to do this man like that?
No one's interviewing him.
Uncalled for.
He's looking over to Zion, where there's got to be like 40 people surrounding Zion. It is.
Well, I think
sad.
Gogo was either the 18th or 19th overall pick in the first round.
Okay, let's look that up.
And so I don't know why they put their tables so close together. That seems a little unfair.
Yeah,
it wasn't done by alphabet, right? As Goga, Zion, not the same.
Right.
Williamson, Biadice, no. And it wasn't clearly by first and 18th or 19th pick.
Yeah.
So like, what is the point of this? If they'd have put like the second round guy next to him, there probably would have been a little overflow at both, right?
Yeah.
But like,
you mean number two, the second?
Yeah, the
pick.
second overall pick or the third overall pick or like some college player of note to like, this is come on.
Yeah, it's like the NBA was trying to troll him. You're right, Peach.
But he'll have the last laugh because he may end up playing more games by the end of next year than Zion has.
He may have already played more games than Zion will in his entire career if Zion doesn't get right. I hope he does, but damn, down again. This is interesting. This is kind of what I've been asking for. A lot of you second cousins out there have been asking for it. Just a big to do big man shit. A paint big who can get some boards and box out some guys and take up some space down there. We watched some Goga highlights before this, and they were only 2 minutes long, and it was a lot of layups.
Yeah, being polite, calling them highlights. They were images that showed him playing basketball.
Pretty sure one of them was a charge.
Yeah.
One of his buckets. But yeah, like Malik is saying, hey, this guy, someone saw the upside in him enough to take him as 19th in the first round. That's nothing to pick your nose up at. Put your nose up at. Anyways, there's talent there, and so this is the kind of signing that we talked about. I don't know if it was last episode or 2 episodes ago when we were talking about the type of moves we expected Weltman and Hammond to make. It's that bowl move.
Yes.
When people just have counted him out. It's it's just getting Goga when he's being thrown away by the Indiana Pacers.
Sure.
And maybe he develops into a solid, just a rotational big. And that's a huge victory for a team later down the road when you're trying to build a playoff and then a championship contending team. These little moves can be the difference makers. So let's see. Hopefully it can be something.
It's worked so far, so
yeah,
front office must know something.
I mean, speaking of working so far, the Magician on Twitter is letting us know that things have been working for the Magic this year. He writes, table courtesy of Base 9. I don't know what that is. The Orlando Magic is the only team in the league to have an upward trajectory net rating each month since the season started. The future is very bright for the young team. And he added, is this anything? And this seems like it might be something to me, Peach. I don't know what you're thinking about, but yes, indeed, the Magic net rating has gone up every single month. I got to zoom in a little closer because the numbers are small. We started our net rating in October, November at minus 6.1. Then December is minus 1.2. Then January is minus 0.4. And in February, it's a positive 2.2. So we're on all the way up.
I mean, I found this bad boy. I knew you'd love it because there's a table, there's a graph, there's stats, and numbers, it proves our point of this growth flower, which comes up every show. Because
I didn't think that would stick.
Because it is a general, here we go, like there's even though you may see some things and think there's setback here, setback there, remember the 5-20 squad that started the season, see the trajectory already going on in this season. And I have a point that I'm going to go back in the notes I wrote for if we did what I learned, which are here.
Ooh, you get a little taste.
Yeah. In the last stretch of games, we were 4-3, right? We left with a sour taste because we lost that last game.
Toronto.
But 4-3 in the last stretch as we head in the All-Star break at 24-35. I need you to remember this record now and temper those expectations because I feel like next year at this season, at this part, if we were 35-24, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But 24 losses is still a lot. There's still going to be some dark spots in there, but I think we can flip that record by All-Star break next year. So that's the kind of expectations I'm setting for us.
Everyone take your receipts. February, 1 year from now, we'll see if you pull a Malik out of your hat here.
I was just going to say, I'll be right there. I'll be doing a Malik. I'll be like, yo.
Go back, check the receipts. Yeah, I mean, look, we started at negative 6.1. That's not great. So there weren't a lot of places to go early in the season, but up.
No, it's true.
But it is moving in the right direction. And progress is progress. Progress, not perfection. It can definitely, there are holes, right? We still need 3-point shooting. We know, ladies and gentlemen. There are still some times when we scratch our heads at certain rotational. Well, the rotation's pretty solid, but at times when we think, "Oh, Mosley, come on, get the starters back in," or let the second unit rock a little bit more.
Right.
Everyone's growing, right? And then Franz and Paulo have been a little cold here, and Cole will go through his peaks and valleys, and we'll get frustrated with the inconsistency or not seeing us with the big man shit. But
it may not continue to rise the rest of the season, but as long as it kind of levels out,
right,
I'm cool with it.
No, it's always, progress is never a straight line in anything we do.
Could be.
So, well, it could be, but I mean, as a teacher, I talk to kids and we're kind of like looking at their work, and some days they're on and they produce awesome work, and then other days it's down. But
sometimes you're 72, sometimes you're 91. We went over this.
Exactly. But as long as we're trending in the right direction, as the Magician is showing us here, that's all we can really ask for. So the team, the program is moving on up, and that's all I want to see.
Indeed.
Someone who could be a big part of that progress, Peach. This is my favorite one. This is my favorite one.
I think it's my favorite one too.
This is our only Welt God for the social media. I think it is. But I mean, if we only have one, this is the one. This might be my favorite Welt God in quite some time, maybe all year. I don't know. Quote: "The Magic are gonna miss T. Ross's shooting off the bench." Caleb Houston, hold my caprice, son.
Perfect picture for this. He's smiling. He's wearing a backpack. He looks like a kid in school.
He's like 14 and like AAU or something. I don't know where Welt God got this photo from, but little Canadian Caleb just doing something.
It also really made me want a Capri Sun, which I did rectify.
You got a Capri?
I had one.
Oh, you popped the pouch, baby.
Yeah, I got that orange.
Hell yeah.
I got a Capri Sun guy. I can hook you up.
I mean, Caleb's been getting some minutes here last few games.
And playing well when he gets them.
Sure.
I don't know how much he'll get them as everyone is back healthy, but he makes the most of his time.
Doesn't pop off the screen, but does all the right things like you expect a Michigan guy to do. He's making cuts, and he has one of the best shooting strokes I've seen in a
honestly
while.
Think he is the sole reason why. I mean, I understand there's a lot of other things going on with Terrence Ross, who we'll talk about in a bit, but I honestly do feel like they feel like, yeah, we could just put this guy in.
Yeah.
So, and he has a chance to improve, whereas D. Ross has already peaked.
T. Ross is going to do what he's going to do.
I like it.
And maybe it's now a good time to go to the T. Ross appreciation post.
We'll do it later.
Okay. All right, fine. All right. So this one from patron Breadhead. Shout out to you, sir. He got to thinking after listening, I think, to one of our recaps about Markelle Fultz's clutch impact, adding possessions, and if there was any stat for that. Love it. I love it. He's digging for stats, baby. Yes, Breadhead. And the stats do back it up. Fultz leads all guards in possessions added, which is a stat that measures steals plus offensive rebounds. Huge impact in being competitive. Peace replies that I speak facts, bro. You must have. You made
I know. I remember saying this on our wrap up when I was talking about Markelle's. You know, it's not showing up in the stat sheet all the time what he does, but he's a positive player. And then we looked at his plus minus for the game, which is points scored when you're on the court. And it's sort of like that wasn't doing him justice either. I'm like, he's a positive possession guy. So Breadhead dug deep. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for proving my point and finding some stat that actually does give Fultz a little love, because he doesn't seem to be getting it. And this is nice. It's a nice taste of like, okay, yeah, you do this and this is good. And then if you also take what we're going to share next with Stanley Swanson, and add that to the game. Well,
yeah, because there were times when I'm one of the biggest Markelle Fultz supporters out there.
He's a Markelle Mark.
You all know that. You've watched the episodes. You know that we've been preaching this from day one. But when he came back this year, you know, there were more turnovers and some plays sometimes. I didn't really feel like this was the Markelle that I expected. And recently, he has gone to another level. And we're seeing those turnovers completely disappear, as Stanley Swanson notes here. Do you guys understand how hard it is to play 35 minutes of basketball and not commit a single turnover while getting 9 assists and being the main ball handler? #PointGod.
That was
a great game.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be pretty close to the equivalent of a perfect game almost for a starting point guard to be able to do those kind of numbers. It is super hard.
Yeah.
Not enough love is given to that. And what we don't have a stat to go with here is that his scoring is up, as you'll find out in the Court Cousins Championship later, which is also an excellent piece. And at some point, I think people are going to start looking at Markelle as a more important piece of what we're doing here, which is what it should, because I think the outlier media kind of looks and goes, oh yeah, they got Paulo and what do they got, Franz?
Yeah.
Okay, so they got Franz is kicking it. All right, yeah, but
Bol.
we see the Bol.
Wow.
But like they're going to start to recognize Markelle Fultz as the maybe 1A, 1B on this squad as far as guys we should be talking about. I think there's still a lot of people who gave up on him a long time ago when he left the Sixers and just aren't ready.
He's kind of like the antithesis right now to the Ben Simmons saga that is sadly unraveling before our eyes. And there's being a lot, media loves to just pile on to Ben Simmons, who just looks like a different guy from when he came into the league. And Markelle is now this kind of huge success story. He was pretty much, people wrote him out of the league, essentially. We got him for a second-round pick in Jonathan Simmons, who was whatever. And now he is clearly the leader of our team. I think a lot of the early turnovers are probably because guys didn't even realize that he was going to be able to make a pass into that window, and they were as surprised about it as all of us were. Oh man, oh my God. And so now guys are understanding that this guy is on another level of passing, of facilitating the offense, of the places that he can get to on the court. And everyone's just getting much more comfortable with it. And because of that level of comfort and consistency with the rotations, we're seeing, as you said, Markelle's stat lines are now starting to reflect what we knew before.
Yep. You love to see it.
You introduce the next one, Pish.
All right. So I was scrolling through the IG, as I'm wont to do. Always looking for some good stuff for this segment. Came across the most legendary sports quotes from all sports culture. There was a lot in this slide. Some classic ones you would know for sure. All of them were ones you'd know, like Wayne Gretzky saying you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah. And
the classic, "Who do you think you are? I am," from bowling. And then all of a sudden this one came across, which is from Pat Williams. And it says, "We can't win at home. We can't win on the road. As a general manager, I can't find anywhere else to play." And I guess I'm just sad that with all these other legendary sports quotes, this one was in there. Do people know about this one? Because I don't remember it, but
I don't know. I'm trying to think of like when this must have been like before Shaq. Like, was it like 90,
maybe
91? Like,
could have been.
I don't know. This was new news to me. Do you remember it out there, Second Cousins?
I guess I'm
what
mostly
was the context of this?
mostly questioning, is this as common a well-known phrase as they think it is? Because there's some legendary quotes that were in this thing.
Yeah.
And for this to appear with it sort of seemed like, well, shit, what?
This is our team. Like, this is
yeah, I should know about this one, but I know. So do you guys all know about this, or did I just miss it, or is it just because it's bad and we kind of just try to forget it, so we put it out of our mind?
Maybe. I was probably 5. I was probably, maybe 5 or 6 when he said this. I'm assuming. I don't know what year it was. Does anyone remember the context of this? Put it in the comments.
I mean, I would like to think he could find us somewhere else to play too, so it just doesn't really even make sense. But anyway, speaking of things that don't make sense, let's get to this next series of tweets.
Let's talk about shitty refereeing, shall we?
The Super Bowl came down to my bad. Other refs.
A second one here. This one is from Timothy Haynes again. Miami star player out here tonight. Multiple plays in the clutch. He has a bright future in this league.
Yeah.
And it is one of the referees from the Miami Heat Orlando Magic game. He's got his ref uniform on there with his Miami clearly emblazoned across his chest. Mm-hmm. He's got the headband looking like he's good because he's putting in work.
Right.
And, he did play a damn good game, especially in the fourth quarter. In the clutch time, that's really when he stepped up his game. Yeah. And that is the hallmark. He was kind of
like the T. Ross. He kind of like he got torched.
He got hot. Right. And that's the hallmark of like a truly great player.
Right.
Is someone who can turn it on and isn't scared of the pressure moments and can deliver. And he really delivered for the Heat. You got to take your hat off to him, man.
Yep. Take your headband off. Yeah. They should take that 75 patch off because that was last season bad.
There was a lot of vitriolic anger about this one in the Magic community for good reason. I mean, there were 2 calls at the very end of the game that swayed it. That bogus charge call was that was in the fourth.
That was a little earlier.
That was a little earlier. Yeah. But then we had one on Markelle in the fourth when the guy was clearly moving. It would have been an and one opportunity. That probably would have sealed the game for us.
Yeah.
There was the Bam Adebayo, that was earlier. I talked about that. But
the Wendell Carter rebound where he got fouled by
yes.
Bam, and then they called the foul on Markelle as the ball started to bounce away and go the other way. That was the biggest miss.
Wendell was assaulted.
Yeah, and it's just it was very odd. We're not ones to usually complain about the ref on this show. We've done 39 episodes of the show.
This is the first
very
time,
rarely mention the refs at all.
Yeah.
But in this one, it just seemed egregious. And man, it would have been nice if we could have had a guy on the team to go up and talk to the refs and maybe show them some camera footage.
Yeah.
But we got rid of Pat Bev.
Orlando Man 407 says, "Man, I wish we had a guy like this to tell these refs they're trash." I did not see this clip. I saw like all of the LeBron memes and everything, but I stay away from LeBron. There's already enough Lakers coverage. I don't need to go looking for any more of it.
Oh.
So I did not see this hilarious clip where Pat Bev somehow got a camera from someone on the sideline and went up to the ref trying to show him the replay. And it's egregious when even the professional Dante Markelle chimes in with a hilarious little quip here. I might add. "I haven't been this angry since Apple decided to change their phone chargers."
All right, Dante, we see you.
Why the hell did they do that? That was annoying.
He out there working. I don't know. I'm not an Apple guy, so that's your problem.
Yeah, but that was bad. We don't need to harp on the referees too much, but damn, yeah, like you said, that 4-3 in these last 7, it would have been nice. We could have easily been 5-2 there.
To play devil's advocate for the refs, the Magic did allow Miami to kind of come back in this one.
For sure.
We kind of left the door open enough for the refs to shove them through. And Miami's a good experienced team that down the clutch is going to find ways to do what they need to do. And if the refs aren't going to hold them accountable, they're going to take extras too, right? Like,
for sure.
I mean, if you're getting away with something, you're going to keep doing it. It's how the Patriots won a ton of Super Bowls. So, here we are.
Yeah, and another thing, just to be fair, is we shot the exact same amount of free throws as the Miami Heat in that game.
Yeah, I don't always put the emphasis on the amount of free throws, but the point is there, yeah.
Foul calls should even out over the course of a game, and when they're dead even, ours just sucked because they came in crunch time when the game was decided.
Yes.
And you hate to see that.
Yep. You hate to see games decided by the Super Bowl. I think the Super Bowl refs watched this game and then said, hold my beer.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have any Capri Suns, so they just said, hold my beer. I'm going to go ruin this big game. I'll be back. They're probably having a great time right now. Those refs are all hanging out at a bar going, we are screwing things up. Woo! Remember that time we went on strike and fucked up everything and we got paid more? Yeah.
All right, let's go to a little bit of trade deadline reaction. After now the dust has settled, we can kind of look around and see the landscape and see where people have gone.
Yep.
So let's get into a little bit of this. The first one is from The Score, and this is a report that the Grizzlies and the Pacers each offered 3 first-round picks for the Raptors' OG Anunoby. And this is a player that, I thought that would be nice to have a player like OG Anunoby, right? A guy like that, plus Franz, plus Paulo. You got 2 of those guys on the court at all times, 3 of them in crunch time. That is pretty dynamic. But the price tag, 3 first-round picks, are you doing? They laughed, apparently. They turned away 3 first-rounders.
Yeah,
so
it sounds like you're about to ask me if I think this price is too high, and you should not ask
I'm
me
not
going to
ask you that.
You know that's too high.
Okay.
Even at 2 first-round picks, I'm not loving it. But 3 is way too high. I don't know why they wouldn't take this deal from the Pacers, because the Pacers actually have a decent pick coming up.
Right.
This seems like, and it could have been a nice fit for the Pacers, too, if Og is everything you say he is. But, I doubt on that. And if this is what these guys are, this is a guy who's not been an all-star. 3 first-round picks for a guy who hasn't been an all-star, that price seems too high. If that's the price, you can see why there weren't as many big-time moves made by us. Because if that's what people want, and they want one of our picks this year, and right now we're still sitting in the 5 and 8 because of having Chicago's pick, I'm hoping that ours goes up and theirs comes down, and we kind of swap. But either way, possibly two top 10 picks. I'm sure one team that wanted to trade with us, any team would have wanted at least one of those.
Yeah.
And if what they're offering is not high enough, for Og.
Well, I can see why it would make sense for a team like the Grizzlies, but I'm really confused at how the Raptors would turn down the Pacers, because those are going to be probably pretty good. At least this year is going to be a pretty damn good first-round pick. Maybe the next couple of years with the way Tyrese Halliburton is playing, the Indiana Pacers, they're going to be sniffing the playoffs just like us, we hope, next year. So, yeah, those might not be the greatest picks, but I still think they're going to be 15th in the first round, and that's a pretty damn good pick still. But the Grizzlies, I understand, right? That's a really good team. They're probably as long as they still have Ja Morant, those first-round picks are going to be late first-round picks. So if you're a team like the Grizzlies, ready to try to make an all-in push in the playoffs, trying to get to a championship, then, hey, giving up 3 first-round picks for a guy who can make an impact and probably be on your squad for the next 4, 5, 6 years, hopefully, I think that's worth it. But for us, we're not there. Was that a big L? What was that?
No, I'm calling a foul. I'm
Okay.
calling a foul.
Okay.
This is from The Score, who's out of Canada. I think they're in on it with the Raptors, and I think they're just trying to make OG seem like that's his price.
Got it.
So that they can get what they want for him in the offseason. It seems like a smokescreen to me.
Or they're trying to build up Og.
Right.
They're trying to be like,
Something.
no, we refused 3 first-round picks for you, Og. We believe in you.
They want to get the most. So then somebody's going to come back, and maybe they won't offer him 3 first-round picks, but maybe they'll offer him 2 and a player that they also kind of like.
Okay.
And maybe that's really what they want, but they want to make it seem like their price is high.
Ah, see, Peach? You're always seeing the other angle on something.
Canadians stick together, man. It's tight up there.
Someone who doesn't stick together who flees at the first sign.
Kevin Durant and NBA teams.
Yes. This one from NBA memes. Somehow, I don't know what Kevin Durant was attending. Maybe the building of some type of new facility. He's got a hard hat on and like a neon construction vest of some sort. And the tag is, this dude just shows up when everything's already built.
Yep.
Moving to his new team, what this is like fourth team now? Yeah, fourth team, I think, that already has, one now all-star, a guy who's been an MVP, multiple time all-stars, DeAndre Ayton, overpaid, but still a damn good big down low. So he's got already 3 kind of like top-tier players, and now he's coming to be the final piece yet again.
Right.
Just like the last guy in the door to now win a championship, try to win a championship. I don't know.
Well, I'll give you a pause and a neg here because I feel like when you're that nice and you can just kind of control where you want to go, you do that, right?
Okay, so that's your sunshine.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to be like, can somebody please get me on the Pistons tomorrow?
Yeah,
like,
fair.
Right? Like he can choose where he wants to go. So he probably wants to go to like a location he likes, either a big city or a warmer city, like you would imagine, right? Like, hey, if you had your pick, there's a lot of places you'd want to go and you wouldn't want to go. So he's earned that right. But
shade?
I don't even know if it needs that kind of shade because everybody who talks positively about LeBron, part of what's made him kind of interesting is that other than when he went to the Heat, he didn't do this, right? He went to the team and then they built around him and he made other players better. And he introduced you to Matthew Dellavedova and some other guys that like you shouldn't know, but because they're on his team, he makes them better. Austin Reeves right now.
Well,
like,
going home to Cleveland
so,
saved LeBron's narrative.
Right. And it did. Yeah. And then he went back there and they kind of put things together with him and Kyrie and, but he doesn't just show up when everything's already built. He kind of has stuff built around him or he works with what he's been given or he like tries to make things work out and get players around him. Whereas he just kind of comes in as like, I'm the final piece. I'm KD. I also known as Durantula and I'm here to work things. And I see both sides.
Yeah. I see both sides. I think it's an unfortunate maybe pressure or expectation when you've got a guy that's a transcendent basketball player and a star on a team. He's also expected to be a transcendent leader. And those two things don't always go together.
He's not a leader.
Kevin Durant is not a leader.
Nope.
And that's okay.
It is.
It's totally fine. He can be the best player on your basketball team, and not your leader.
Right.
And that's okay. But, when he went to Brooklyn and tried to do it himself, there clearly wasn't the culture in that building, and it all fell apart.
Yep.
And, hey, the GM, the coach, they can contribute to creating the culture, but the buck stops with the players. The players are the ones who can really define the culture and especially the leaders of the team.
Right.
And so that responsibility is always going to be, and that blame will always, for me, be on Kevin Durant to a large extent because he wanted to create that. And then when it blew up, just left. And now he's going to a great team, which, hey, good on you, bro. You're right. But
also in the Eastern Conference, it's not always about the buck stops here. A lot of times it's that the Bucks stop you.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Well, we just talked about LeBron and how, he's trying to make players around him better. And so let's talk about a
little
recent,
of it last night.
Yeah. A recent Magic player, Mo Bamba, made his first Lakers game. And what was his stat line? Like 4 points.
It wasn't
6
awesome.
boards and
3 blocks.
6 fouls.
3 blocks was the highlight.
He fouled out in 16 minutes.
He was Mo Bamba doing Mo Bamba things for the Lakers. And, he did some good things. He did some aggravating things, but I think he'll find a little place there really just as kind of being their bench big to come in and get some minutes. They were winning pretty handily. So he got a lot of minutes later in the game. It looked weird to see him in the 12. It gave me Dwight Howard vibes all over again.
Oh yeah.
But another Magic big man in La La Land, and this will be the, no offense, the worst of the 3 experiments, I think.
I stumbled upon a tweet like many of you may have in the Magic community because a lot of us jumped on with this. A gentleman at Keith_Gucci a Lakers fan, I assume, said, WTF, Mo Bamba trying to play outside like a guard. Get in the post, man. And Magic fans, you came through with some classics, just letting him know. Orlando Eli said first time from a movie, and Keith replies to all of these. It is crying emojis. Evan wrote, he's got no post moves, though, so what's he going to do down there? Keith's respond to that. And then it's just one after the other. Congrats on losing your Mo Bamba virginity from Caleb. Like,
yeah, I think I would have said I remember my first Bamba.
Yeah. Don't worry. RL says, don't worry. You'll think he's Black Jesus when he's typical monthly 5 of 5 3-point performance.
Right. Yeah. I think he went 0 for 3 or 0 for 4 from 3 last night. It was not one of the good Mo Bamba games. It was just he's in there getting minutes kind of thing. But that's what the Lakers were looking for. That's what they needed. They needed a little bit more size and length on the inside. And overall, what the Lakers built, I think, is good. I think they added some good pieces back. And I really do think they're in a good spot to make the play-in, or even better at this point. They have the West is kind of clogged in the middle.
They've got to win a lot of their last games right now. I think it's like 16 of the last 24 or something. They got to do some work to make it. We'll see.
Could be done. It'll be fun to watch them. And they're going to force it on us because they always show you the Lakers no matter how bad they are.
Of course. A team that definitely will be in the Lakers, or in the playoffs, is a team that we just spoke about when speaking about Kevin Durant. The Phoenix Suns have officially signed Terrence Ross.
Yep.
Which, I don't love what Kevin Durant did, but I'm going to have to root for the Phoenix Suns.
Okay.
With Terrence now on that squad, because I would love to see him get a chip.
Okay.
So he's wearing 8. They welcomed him to the Valley, and we're on a send-off. There was a lot of love for Terrence on the socials. Orlando Muse writes, Terrence Ross scored 3,805 points off the bench in a Magic uniform. No other player has had more than 3,000. So
fun stat, but Orlando Muse, how many points did he score as a starter?
Yeah, I'm not many.
Yeah,
not many. He didn't start a lot of games, but
should have probably.
The sixth man is an important position on an NBA team, and we can now make the argument that Terrence Ross is the best sixth man in the history of the Orlando Magic.
I mean, the stats are there.
Yeah. So, thank you, Torch. I know times were up and down, but always went through them like a gentleman and a scholar. It was just a fun, positive guy. Always seemed to love being in Orlando. He genuinely does. He had his goodbye video was talking about how he loves being here, how he appreciated being welcomed, how his family's here, how he's always going to be a resident. Yep. So I think like many ex-players, not only Magic players who like to retire in Orlando, we'll be seeing Terrence Ross post-career.
Yeah, he's going to be in the booth with Dante. He's going to fill in for Nick Anderson.
Yes.
I can see it.
Can't wait to see the Torch in the pre and post game. That's going to be good. So good luck in the Valley. I do hope they get the chip. All right, Peach, we're going into our last post on our social media wrap-up. This one is from Mavs Magic Draft. We've seen a wave of consistency from Cole Anthony over the last about 3 weeks. He's really found his niche off the bench since January 20th, 12 games. He's averaging 13.8 points per game, 4.8 rebounds per game, 3.5 assists per game, 1 block per game, and only 1.4 turnovers per game on splits of 54%, 40%, and 86.5%. Gotta love it, Peach. How are we feeling about the Cole Anthonys?
Well, I don't know a lot about splits other than in a gymnastics sense, but I do know that Cole Anthony has been leading the charge off the bench for the squad.
Yep.
And everyone's roles are defined, and it's been super helping. Yep. And he has been the glue that's holding that bench together, as we've seen without him the last 2 games. They haven't been quite the same.
Right.
And that's what he brings, is he brings that fire and that intensity, and he's been shooting the ball better. And it's just, it allows other people to do what they do because they're not having to try to be a point guard all of a sudden, right? Like they're letting kind of him run that part of the show, which is good. All around, you can't ask for much more from Cole Anthony than what he's been giving in the last series of games. So it's really stunk to be without him last 2, but he'll be back, I would assume, after the break.
Absolutely. I mean, he's been, I don't think it can be overstated Cole Anthony's impact on this team, putting the headphones back on, Peach. I don't think it can be overstated how much of an impact Cole has had in the recent stretch of games, especially as he's settled in to his role as the guy off of the bench who runs the show. And to your point too, when he's playing well, he's also closed out a couple games here and there,
right.
So if he's a hot hand, he knows that Mosley's going to stick with him. And it's not Mavs Magic Draft also put his per 36 numbers up here, which is like 21 points a game, 7.5 boards, 5.5 assists. And yeah, he might not get ever 36 minutes a game. Like those are kind of starter minutes, but he could get 30. He could get 32,
right.
Being the seventh man off the bench. And he really does make everything go. He's been elevating the play of everyone around him. Something that he's added this year in a big way is that floater. He was in a shooting slump earlier in the year. He made a decision to get into the paint. That has been causing other people to get open shots. I mean, I just look at Jalen Suggs play. And yes, he did have a pretty damn good game last game, one of his better games of the year. Mm-hmm. But that was a lot of playing beside Markelle Fultz, too. He played a lot of minutes next to Markelle Fultz. When Jalen Suggs has the ball, he's not as steady. His minutes don't look as good. He is a fantastic shooting guard, and Cole Anthony helps unlock that player in Jalen Suggs.
Sure.
Just like he helps unlock the best version of Moritz Wagner, as well as Franz, and Bol and all the guys on the second unit. And when he's playing next to Markelle, he's shown that he can be a damn good off-ball guard as well, especially if he keeps shooting 40% from the field. The only thing is, that has been with Cole. We've seen Cole go on a tear before. The question is the consistency. Will he be able to keep it up? And I just hope to hell he will. I think he will be, because this is the first time that he's had consistency around him as an Orlando Magic.
For sure.
So I think this is going to be a trend. And this Cole Anthony, man, this is undeniably a tremendous impact player who I'm happy to have on the team, because he's one of my favorite guys on the squad.
Mine too, as you know.
Yeah.
And I've been watching a lot of draft videos for potential draft rankings and stuff like this. And all the guys always say, oh, the Magic need to upgrade their guards. So they're going to take A and B, They always, they got to upgrade their guards. And they'll mention, they got Markelle Fultz and they got Jalen Suggs and they got Cole Anthony, but they need to update their guards. Those three guys right there are the most clutch dudes on our team. And would they have the clutch gene? I'm comfortable with the ball in their hands when the buzzer beater's there or the game's on the line. Those are the three guys.
You're not wrong.
It may not show up on your stat sheet, people. And please don't call him Franz anymore. But those guys are better than you think.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be nice to get another shooting guard option in there. But they don't know.
Yeah.
So they'll find out.
They will find out. So if you have any posts that you find insightful, interesting, or just downright hilarious, hit us up at @court_cousins, and maybe it'll end up on the show.
All right.
Someone that always, Peach, has some insightful ideas is the man we are now going to welcome in.
Okay.
Hope you enjoy this segment. Fill in the blank with none other than Orlando Sentinel reporter Khobi Price.
Oh, I'm going to put on pants for this.
It is now time for a very special edition of an oldie and a goodie, fill in the blank, with a true Shakespearean, a professional, a writer extraordinaire, Khobi Price, everyone. Let him hear it. Khobi, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to hang out with us and the second cousins out there. And as you know, on the show, before we get into it, we want to know how you're doing, man. We care about you. So how are you doing, sir, for the Chuma Are You Okay check-in?
Yeah, no, I think I sent you the picture for this segment. If for people who are just listening to this may not be seeing, remember the picture where Chuma, I think it was like a pro-am or something, like a run that he went to during the off season. And I think he had a camp that he did earlier that morning, earlier that afternoon. And then from that camp, he went to go play the pickup game, whatever it was, later that day.
Yeah.
And everybody has an image of him wearing the jersey over his polo. And I actually asked him about that.
You did? Okay.
I did actually, like, just nonchalant, just asked him about that. Like, what was the deal? He was like, he explained just how I explained to you guys right there. Just like, yeah, like I was just in a rush. had to run over from my camp to go play pickup. I didn't ask him at the time. I wish I did. It's like, you could have just threw the jersey, like could have took the polo off and just thrown the jersey on, man. Like you didn't have to do that. But
Chuma doing Chuma things.
That's where I'm at right now. That's where I'm at right there. Just why do that? Nah, man. It's just I'm just trying to get the task done. I'm just trying to do something. That's where I'm at right now.
Fair enough.
Well, I'm sure hopefully you're getting a little bit of a breath of fresh air as we're going now into the All-Star break. But if you aren't already second cousins out there, you must absolutely be subscribing to the Orlando Sentinel to follow Khobi's work. Digitally, it's like pennies on the day. I think it's like $7 for 6 months to get the amazing journalism that Khobi's been putting out. You travel with the team quite often, not every game. How does that work? You sometimes I hear you in the interviews, in the post games traveling, but some days not. How does that work when you decide when and where you're going to go?
Yeah, it's I guess, maybe a budget thing, best way to describe it, just in terms of what road trips make more sense than others. Like for instance, I didn't go on this back-to-back in Chicago and Toronto, but allocating the resources for trips that just make a little bit more sense.
Got it.
From that standpoint.
So right now we need to send Khobi everywhere campaign, second cousins. We need to buy subscriptions. We need to be emailing managers, telling them how much we're loving all the reporting that Khobi's doing. We want him at every single road game.
I would suggest giving him a follow on Twitter. That's where I get a lot of my Magic updates, is from him on Twitter. That's free, and it'll give you a taste, and then you'll be like, maybe I need to read more. And then
you need the whole Khobi beef.
You'll get the whole thing.
I did your joke. I'm sorry.
Then not well.
I don't even need to self-promote. I appreciate you guys for doing it for me. That's where it's at. That's love.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. All right. So let's get into it. I'm excited to have you on for this game because, I'm an English teacher and you're a pro writer. So this is like, I'm getting to see the pros in action right now. And
I did what they call some college. But a lot of English classes, so I'm ready.
So you're good. You're good to go. We're ready for some wordplay. So here we go. We're just going to get right into it. We've got 4 fill in the blanks for Khobi. And the first one, sir, is this. Blank is the most vital element to the team's success.
Defense. Yes. Oh, okay. So do I need to, you guys want to like, do the word then explain?
Yeah.
Right,
Give your take on it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay. So yeah, defense is the most vital part, just because that's going to be, what this team needs to hang its hat on for the rest of the season if they want to continue to progress. I think it might have been Wendell, and if it wasn't, I'm sorry, Wendell Carter. But I think it was him. I'm pretty sure it was him who said that he believed that they could be a top 10 defense in the league. And since they started to get healthy, they've been trending in that direction throughout the year. So I think right now, of the time of recording, they're somewhere I think they're 16th, somewhere in that 16th to 17th range, or at least they were before the loss to Toronto. Like that's what's going to need to get them, to the next steps in their development. They have the tools, they have the versatility, they have the bodies, they have the mindset. So they just need to perform that way. And, their defense fuels our offense. Getting out in transition makes it a lot easier for them to run, get some early points, because sometimes in late clock situations, it can be, or in half court situations rather, it can be a little bit of a struggle at times. So using the defense to fuel everything else, that's going to be the most vital part of this team.
Yeah, that's a great point, because any of these times, even in these last 2 games, we want to look at just those. The moments where things are going well for us, it's because our defense is getting things going. And you said all the great things that our team does have. One of the things we don't have is consistent 3-point shooting. So we're going to need to score in the paint and inside, and that's a lot easier to do off of defensive transitions and getting those turnovers and getting those kind of buckets. So that's what we need to hang our hat on, is defense. So I think
that's your blank
perfectly
as well,
filled
Fish.
blank. Well, I'm not going to go with anything different. That makes complete sense.
I'm on the same boat as y'all. We have a saying on this show, Khobi, that we like to see #big man shit.
Yes.
And I think that big man shit is going to be the most vital element to the team's success. When we do our show recaps, Second Cousins, you're tuning in for the recaps. I'm always looking at the rebounding and the points in the paint. Because until we get that 3-point shooting, we got to be winning those big, or else we're not winning. So I think that is where I'm going to land on that one.
All right. Fair enough.
All right. You feeling good now, Khobi? You got your feet wet on that first one?
Yeah.
Warmed up?
I'm enjoying it. This is a good game. Yeah, it's like a free throw right there. Just taking my free throws.
He's limber.
All right.
He's ready.
Yeah. Just seeing how my shooting touch is right there.
Did you play hoop growing up?
Yeah. Like as a kid, all the way through high school. Yeah.
Okay. Because I know you've covered a lot of sports. Is basketball your favorite thing to cover and or watch?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, most definitely. Actually, yeah, I would definitely say so. Especially to watch, can watch it probably more than it's healthy to do so in a day. So, yeah.
Yes, a true kindred spirit.
Fair enough.
All right, well, another guy that loves ball and now lives and breathes it, although he used to love some football too, is our boy Jalen Suggs. Just watched an awesome documentary on that. I think I'm a little late, but Overtime had a cool documentary following him home to Minnesota. That was cool. Check that one out if you haven't already. So here is the blank on Jalen Suggs. The final version of Jalen Suggs is blank. What say you, Mr. Price?
Shout out to Tony Allen, first team all defense.
Wow. Tony
Yeah,
Allen.
I don't know how often you get a Tony Allen callback, but on this podcast. But I hope I was one of the more special ones right there. But first team all defense. I think Coach Jamal Mosley, he said it himself. Like Jalen's progressing to the point. I'm paraphrasing, but he's progressing to the point where he could be an all team defender in the league. And you're starting to see him put the tools together. The athleticism, being a little bit more flexible in terms of how he's guarding. Like there is a skill set there on that end. That's just game changing. Like you can see it, especially in some of these second quarters he's played, because he's been that like sub in midway, kind of maybe like somewhere between like the 6-minute mark and like 3-4 minute mark in the first quarter, and then he gets to like its longer stint going into the second quarter, especially the start of the second quarter. You can see how impactful he is on that end, just from terms of how he's guarding his man, but just these plays he makes, the deflections he has, the steals he gets. He's been doing he's had a few steals where guys will try to make a pass from the backcourt into the front court. And I don't know, I think one time I saw it, he was hiding behind the guy. He just popped behind the player and he popped in front. But in other times he's just there and he just jumps right there. He will just throw, just shoot almost out of a cannon.
He's so quick.
Pass. Yeah, that's the defensive background in definitely. Him, just being able to jump. But yeah, he's so there's a quickness to him, a suddenness to him that I think sometimes surprises offensive players and the physicality he brings. So there's just a lot of tools as he gets more playing time. He honestly hasn't played a whole lot when you think about how much playing time a guy needs to have to really get to that level.
Yeah.
But he's on a trajectory where I could actually see that being, something very realistic for him.
I'm gonna hop in, Peach, because I have my blank.
Go ahead.
The final version of Jalen Suggs is an all defensive team starter.
Okay.
So I'm right on that same thing. I was kind of combining two things. He's going to be an all defensive team player and he's going to be a starter in this league, for all the reasons Khobi mentioned. But he's right now he's 19th in the league. Here's an advanced analytic for you, Peach. I know you love these. He doesn't. He's 19th in the league right now in something called regular. I couldn't say it pre-show and I can't say it now. Regularized defensive turnovers. I'm not sure if you know exactly what that is, Khobi, but he's 19th in it. And I think it's good. I was looking for deflections, but you can just tell that he's getting into the passing lanes. As you said, he's a menace on the defensive side. And guess what? The other side of the ball is coming around too, as our boy David Steele let us know. in the This Is Anything. I don't know if it was last night or the night before. He's shooting 61.3% from his mid-range.
Oh, yeah,
and that's the number one in the league on someone with 30 more attempts. That was hilarious if you were watching it, because the other players on that list were like Kevin Durant and like I forget, Devin Booker.
Shot several of them.
Yeah, and those guys had shot like 200, 300 mid-range shots, and Jalen's like at like 32, but in his last 5, according to StatMuse, 11 points per game, 2 rebounds, 2 steals. I'm 2 assists. I'm sorry, 1.2 steals, which is much lower than his actual defensive impact. But the important thing for me, 51% from the field, about 37% from 3, which is where Jalen had struggled previously. The only thing that's going to hold Jalen back, guys, in my opinion, is the thing that makes him great, which is his crazy motor and the way he plays with reckless abandon. But
yeah, Libman should put their logo on his jersey, because he is all over the court, cleaning it better than any of those green shirted folks could. My answer for this one, the final version of Jalen Suggs, is Jalen Suggs Sr. That means he goes on to have a child, names it Jalen, and he's Jalen Suggs. Because I feel like he's his own man, right? You guys have put these other labels of things he could become.
Yeah.
But they always say, oh, do you want to be the next Michael Jordan? And you hear great people go, no, I want to be the next me. And they say their name.
Okay.
And I feel like that's what Jalen Suggs would answer if you asked him this similar question. So I say he's just himself.
All right.
Which resembles a dog, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he has definitely got the dog in him. That is for sure.
Suggs Senior. I did not expect that to be how you finish a sentence. I appreciate the creativity there.
I like to have fun. That's a true compliment from a wordsmith himself.
Yeah.
See, some college kids, it'll get you somewhere.
Yeah, some. Just a taste. No debt. No diploma.
All right, let's get into the third one. Again, Khobi, your writing is fantastic, extremely informational and entertaining on Orlando Sentinel. In one of your recent articles about Mo Bamba's departure, you detailed some of the cap stuff, mentioning that we could have as much as $55 million in salary cap free. Of course, that number would mean that, certain contracts like J.I., Kel, Gary, and Bull wouldn't be coming back, which, of course, we know that's not all going to happen. Maybe one of those, but I don't see J.I. or Kel going anywhere. Hopefully not Gary or Bull. I think we should let those guys. But there could be a lot of flexibility in the salary cap and a lot of room. So here is our fill in the blank. The Orlando Magic's offseason will be blank. This is a good time. We're about at the All-Star break. Good time to reflect. So what say you, Khobi?
The Orlando Magic's All-Star break, off-season will be fun. I think it'll just be something fun to kind of chronicle. The options, I think you can kind of see how they're positioning themselves for the future. They have, between this summer and maybe even you want to consider the 2024 summer, they have the flexibility to go in multiple different directions before, certain guys start getting, their next contracts start kicking in. So I think it's going to be fun to see how this front office views this team, because that's ultimately what the moves will be reflective of. How each move will be a reflection of what they view of their core and what they view of this team and what they view of the direction. So I'm actually very interested in seeing how are they evaluating this stretch, whether you want to say the stretch from December 5th or 7th to now, the stretch from the beginning of this year to now, the stretch from post All-Star break to the end of the season. How are they viewing the stretch? how much are they buying this team's ready for that next step? They may be a little further ahead in this process than we may have gone into the season believing. Or is this, we thought this team was at this level, we just need to see them healthy. And now we understand they're fitting, or they're on the pathway that we thought they were going to be, before the health really started to disrupt the first 20-25 games of the season. So that's something I think it's going to be fun to see just exactly what they're seeing, and not just from what they tell us, but from what they show us through the moves they do or do not make.
Yeah, that's 100% accurate. No. My first thought was fun as well. Gonna switch it up a little bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna go hype. I think it's gonna be hype.
Really?
And I think it's gonna be hype in both terms of it. I think it's gonna be Hell yeah. Raise the roof.
Okay.
People are stoked on us. People have heard we've got a good young core.
I'm
All
hyped.
this stuff's going on. Some new people are going to come in, maybe free agent, obviously some draft picks, and everyone's going to start to get on our bandwagon just a bit. They're going to at least put a toe on there and be like, I want to consider your bandwagon. And the hype might get a little too much, to be honest.
Yeah.
The actual hype now. Like everyone's going to pump it up so much that it might be like, oh, they're expecting us to win 20 of the first 25 games. But, you know, we're going to have to measure the expectations and tamp people down a little bit. But
Peach is
it's got to be hype.
Always temperance with you. You're very
I like to keep it real.
Yes, you do.
And I think with a team like this, if you're going to follow them and watch every game, you have to like do that. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of bad days if you hang your hat on your heart's on your sleeve and every time they lose, you're upset. Like you gotta roll with the punches.
You're talking about me again.
Well, last night in the wrap up, I pulled you back though.
Yeah,
I feel like we got your smiling by the end of the
Yeah, that was nice of you. I'm gonna rain on the parade, I think, guys.
Come on.
I don't mean to, but I have right here the Orlando Magic's offseason will be quieter than expected. I don't see, looking at Weltman Hammond's track record and what they did in Milwaukee, I don't see the big splash move that maybe myself, maybe some of you second cousins out there are thinking we're kind of that one free agent away or that one step away from really making a deeper push into being in the playoffs and then making a serious push to make some noise. I think that there's going to be another year. Khobi was talking about this a moment ago, of more just like, let's really see what we have without the injuries. Let's draft a guy. I don't know if we're going to use both draft picks, but I don't think we're going to use one of those or both of them to bring in any crazy big name. We want, Franz and Paulo to have the rock and to be developing, of course, with Kel too. So I just think we're going to let it rock. And I'm hype. Hey, if we let it rock, I'm hype off of that. All right. I'm not, and then I think
so now you're dipping a toe on my answer bandwagon.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it. Here. Get the feet out again. Yeah, I'll dip a toe onto your bandwagon. All right. Okay, so now I'll be excited to follow along, Khobi, with all your articles this summer and seeing the narratives that you're kind of weaving and seeing with your close proximity to the team. But we've got to ask you this blank before we let you go. Because, and this is from one of our Patreon, shout out to Matthew Bell on the Patreon. Thank you, sir.
That's the Matthew Bell sponsored.
There has been, how do I say this? Some frustrations, Peach, amongst the Magic community around the front office and some of its ways of obfuscating, that's maybe not the right word, of just being closed and clandestine and very tight-lipped in the way that they go about their business, which, if you're running an organization, by the way, is the great thing to do. However, as us fans, it can be frustrating. So I'm curious for you, Khobi, to fill in this blank. It is blank getting solid information from our front office. I can't wait to hear this one. I'm going to lean in.
It is blank to get information from
solid information. I'm not talking about those. I'm not talking about those Weltman euphemisms and all that. The sugar hot. No, I'm talking about, hey, what's going on here? Give me a straight answer, Weltman. We don't seem to get those. So, what's it like for you? Are you experiencing I'm leading the question. I'm sorry, Peach. Sorry.
It is not as it is. Actually, I have this written down somewhere. Make sure I actually say this in a way that is grammatically
yeah, we don't want to cost
too.
you any relationships here. That's not.
No, not even that. I was just trying to make sure I say it in a way is very grammatically correct, just so I'm not saying something that doesn't make sense. It is not as strenuous, and I guess finish the sentence. If you kind of roll from there, so I guess not as strenuous. Getting solid information, not as strenuous as some may think.
Oh, okay.
Getting solid information. Yeah, there we go. And I think I use that just because I think, they're like, I think it was from the draft or the draft period where I think Jeff mentioned just like they take pride in like being buttoned up and not like having like not putting a whole lot of information out there.
Right.
So for me, like I think I don't get as, I don't know, maybe as like concerned or maybe frustrated as others may be, just because like there's an understanding of like this is what they are willing to say, this is what they're not willing to say, or willing to touch on, or willing to talk about. And then it's also like on me is like, okay, well, if I'm not gonna, if I'm not getting some information from here, there's like I'm gonna figure out like I'm gonna just try to find information in other ways. Whether like we talk like, and I give an example is like talk about the injuries, right? Like a lot of that was coming straight from like I was giving updates based off going to the players, like just speaking with them, like how they're feeling.
I read those articles. Thank you for that. That was genius.
So yeah, and so that just means like the front office may not comment on like, oh, this is where this guy's at. Right. And I think some of it's also being respectful to the players too. And I guess you want to say like in defense of the front office, because they don't want to put the players in a position that they're not comfortable in, especially when it comes to injuries.
Yeah, that has burned some franchises with star players in the past. So that is an angle on this that I don't think anyone's ever brought up before. So I think that's a great point. So I'm in my mind, I'm picturing you're also getting it like Jesse Mermez sends you a raven with like some information too. Like, but in general, I just love the idea that like you're just simply asking the players. It's that simple. Like,
I think sometimes is maybe overcomplicated or I don't know, made to be something it's not. Like sometimes it's like you ask something and there's certain things that just front offices generally either won't or honestly probably shouldn't talk about, at least publicly. And I understand it. They have, like, I have a job, they have a job too, and some of their job is protection of information. I understand that, but there's certain information obviously that I seek out and I think it's important to report on or speak on publicly. And whether it's injuries or where guys are at in terms of their process or just generally how they're feeling in that process, that's something that I believe is important. Whether it's, what I'm hearing about draft process or player evaluation process or any of that rotations, any of that kind of stuff, like I think that's important. So if even if they may not say like, all right, this is going to be our path, like you can like start putting the pieces together in other ways too. And not in like underhanded way, if that makes sense, just like on a straightforward honest, just like this is what I'm trying to figure out and these are the ways I can figure that out.
That's cool.
Now have you are there other, do you have past forgive my ignorance here, I've seen you on a couple other podcasts and I think it was on maybe Orlando Magic HQ. They dug into a little bit more of your history when you first jumped onto the Orlando Sentinel, but have you dealt with other front offices before? Were you coming from college program? Did I have that confused?
Did you have to work with the Bulls when you were writing for Pippin Ain't Easy, which is, by the way, probably one of the best blog names of all time?
It is. I will stand by. That is very much one of the better blog names out there.
Oh, Peace, you did your research.
I hit the LinkedIn.
No, all right. So I guess I did not directly deal with the Bulls when I was blogging for Pimpin' Ain't Easy. Yes, you are actually right on multiple fronts, Kyle, in terms of my background. So I guess to elaborate a little bit further, I was covering the Miami Hurricanes before I took this job with the Orlando Sentinel. However, during that time, I was also the backup Miami Heat writer at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. And then I covered I know it's a sore spot.
So you got to cover the playoffs. That's cool.
Actually, I didn't cover a playoff game.
Oh.
But I guess, I'm just going to leave it at that. But
there's a story there. I'm going to do a little investigating. All right. I'll get back to you, Second Cousins. We'll get the story.
So, and then, I think, cover FAU, another college program, cover Inter Miami. So I did a few different things, covered a few different teams programs while in South Florida before coming to the Orlando Sentinel.
All right.
Is there a guy on the team that you talk to that you enjoy talking to the most that's like just a dude? Because I feel like most of our guys are pretty good dudes.
Oh, it seems
so.
It's
got to be like picking your favorite child. I would imagine. I don't have children, but I would imagine it's like that. But like, who are your go-to guys on the team?
That's a good bonus fill in the blank, Peach. Your favorite Orlando Magic player to hang out with is blank.
Well, I don't know if he hangs out with him, but he at least talks to him. I'm saying, like, who do you enjoy conversing with the most? That feel like you get the coolest stuff from.
I mean, it varies. Like, I don't look at it like that, to be honest. I know that's kind of like a cliche answer, but I really don't.
He's dodging the question, Peach. You can tell he's a pro.
He doesn't want to say Cole Anthony and upset Chuma. I get
it. Yeah, it's also like, honestly, some of it's just also like, in terms of a lot of it, like, you may spend time like either in shooting rounds, practices, or locker room, and especially the locker room, that's circumstantial. I guess I'll explain a little bit more. Like, I talked to Markelle. Like, I got to know Markelle a little bit better while he was out before he came back.
Okay.
Because he was hurt. He wasn't on. He wasn't during like doing his pregame stuff. So sometimes he'd be in the locker room hanging out with the guys, chatting, and we would just talk about stuff. You know, obviously I think a story or two about how he was feeling, but also we just talk about stuff off the floor too. And obviously we still chat now. But like, since he's come back, like, his shooting slot is during locker room time, pregame locker room time, that is. So I don't see him as much in the locker room during that time, if that makes sense.
Right.
Oh, okay. That is a good little peek behind the curtain there.
Yeah, so
you must know J.I. really well then. Sorry, Jonathan, we love you. We love you. That's a little joke. We're just having fun here.
It makes sense. It makes complete sense.
Yeah, I mean, the guys, that's cool that they're and they're like willing to spend that time, which just speaks to the character of all the young men that we have on the squad. Well, thank you so much, Khobi, for being that advocate. Maybe that's not the right word, but for being, that person that is inquiring and asking the questions that many fans are wondering about, and fueling and really helping us to understand how the team is feeling and where guys' heads are. It really provides a lot of important context to help me understand the situations and what's going on with the squad that we spend so much time with and that we love and bleed blue for. So
yeah, and also we're trying to do a podcast, and like during the summer we got to fill time, so we need all this information.
So keep doing what you're doing, Khobi. We really need it, man.
Oh no, it is more than my pleasure. I appreciate you guys supporting and reading, following along. It really does mean a lot. I can tell that you do read, and that's really appreciated. Because you're being able to recall very specific things that I've written before, so that's amazing to actually see.
Yeah, and make sure Second Cousins. I'm telling you, it's like $7 for 6 months. It'll be the best $7 you ever spend just for the digital. All I do, I mean, I'm in Connecticut. I care nothing of or Florida politics, social, anything going on down there. I mean, a little bit. I want Orlando to be doing well and be happy, but I literally just filter for Orlando Magic, and it's pretty just like Khobi Price, and I just hop on there every day and see if there's a new article, and the insight is always tremendous. So if you haven't already, this is going to be the best $7 you ever spent, and then we'll make sure we got to do the campaign. We got to email the manager, make sure we get Khobi everywhere. Yeah.
All right, I'm bringing the sign to the game.
Well, thank you so much, sir. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully we can do this again sometime.
No, I appreciate you guys having me on. I really do. Absolutely. Anytime you want to do this again, just reach out.
Cool. We'll do. Thanks. We'll see you next week in Orlando.
Thanks again to Khobi for stopping by and spending some time with us. We'll hope to do it again. And now, Peach is going to run down, give us a little update about where we stand with the Court Cousins Championship.
He sure is. Yeah, so we made 5.
He's speaking in the third person now.
Yes. He's a hell of a guy. So we had 10 games in this set when we made 5 bets. Here are the bets and where they stand so far. I set the idea of Paulo scoring 30 points in a game, which seems silly now, but I set that line at 2.1. You took the under. So far, 0 in those first 6 games, still 4 to go. He'd have to do it in 3 of them. I think he got a W there.
Hey, maybe coming off the All-Star break, we get a hot Paulo. That'd be nice.
Then next, you posed the idea of Suggs steals, and him averaging 2.4 steals a game.
I was high on Suggs. He was playing really good defense. He still is.
And he has 1.2, an average of 1.2 so far in this game. But
so he's going to need to average like 6 for the
But if you're looking for a bright spot, he had 4 against Miami.
So he needs to get
So he had a few games with 0 in there.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Next, I posed the idea of the Moritz charges drawn.
Love it.
Set the line way too high at 6.5. You've taken the under. He does have 3 so far.
Hey?
So if he gets one a game, we could still do it.
Yeah. Hey, it's not crazy. He loves to try. He's going to try.
So that's all I can ask. Next is one that I'm feeling super good about. You posed the idea of Fultz points, and you set the line nice and low at 13. I took the over, and he's at 16.5 so far. So barring a complete falling off, this one should be a dub for me.
That was my bad, Markelle.
And then the fifth one is the fan-inspired from Anthony Unwin. It was Gary Harris's threes, and the total of them made per game has been 1.9. So I set the line of total threes to 20.5. So far on the first 6, he only has 8. He didn't play against the Nuggets. That kind of hurt me a little bit, but you took the under there. So that's looking pretty good for you.
For sure. And so the way this is going to work now is whoever wins the wagers gets to just decide what the shootout will be for the Court Cousins championship belt. So if things play out as they are right now, I'll be able to decide
the terms,
the arena for the shootout. Could be anything.
The terms. Yeah.
Could be Papa Shot. Could be an NBA Jams game. We find an arcade down in Orlando.
If you have the advantage and you choose Papa Shot, I would advise against that.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to choose like soccer shots at the Orlando City Arena.
You did already suggest that. That would be a good idea for you. Secretly, I'm pretty good at soccer.
Oh, I'm sorry. You played high school soccer too?
I did not, actually. I stopped.
All right. You better not go anywhere, you knucklehead. Stick around for the large ending. But I do want to shout out again all our All-Stars and second cousins on the Patreon. Magic Player History, Omid, Raphael, Breadhead, Wally, Al, Bernie, Matthew, Gloria Damien, Yadi, Connor, and the Polish Wonder. Thank you so much for supporting the show. If you can, go over, check out the Patreon. There's tons of good content over there. We got the outtakes. We've got some goals that we're trying to reach. I think the next one we're about $50 a month away from. If you can help us, that'd be great. The next goal is to give away more stuff. So if you can help us reach that, we're just going to put it right back in the show. What the hell? What the?
This is my Bowl Patrol light. We didn't talk about him today, so I'm just forcing it into the show.
Yeah. You can, if you get on the Patreon, you can help Peach buy more hilarious shit like this. All right. This is what you need. You know, you didn't know you needed it, but this is what you need. So, but seriously, thank you everyone for your support out there. It's been helping to get studio lights, to get this Rodecaster mixer, and just to create better content about the team that we love. So thank you for what you do. If you can't, no big deal. Maybe the YouTube membership is the right price for you. $2 a month. You know, that's just saying, hey, thanks for creating the content. And, you know, the biggest thing is just watching, clicking that like, clicking that subscribe. We talked about it at the start of the show, Peach, for our Chuma Are You Okay check-in. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'm in a valley, man. I'm not feeling myself.
Yep.
Maybe I'm not even really, I'm not social. I don't want to do the show. But what always does get me up to do the show is knowing that, hey, we're going to have some jokes. We're going to have some laughs. That'll make me feel better. And hopefully it'll make someone out there get a laugh, get a chuckle, have a good time.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine doing like a podcast and not having jokes in it.
Yeah.
I know they're out there. But I don't know why. I don't know why people watch them, but
we like to keep it light, and we're able to do that because of your support. So thank you so much, everybody. All right, Peach, hit the music, sir. It's time for the large ending. Yeah. Football season is over, Peach. I got a bonus fill in the blank for you. Peach feels blank. That says it all.
That
says it all.
Empty. I'm gonna say. I mean, it felt like a wasted year to let the Chiefs, with their terrible nickname and their terrible chants, insensitive, and their ketchup goblin of a quarterback, just awful. I hate the Chiefs. Bad end of the season. It really, Sunday has a big gap in it now. But I'm very seasonal. I understand March Madness around the corner.
I'm excited for that.
And then there's also the NBA and NHL playoffs at the same time, which is amazing.
And maybe the Magic
weather
will be
gets
in
better,
that.
so it's all good. So I'm ready to move on. I'll be fine.
Cool.
We're going to be doing some card hunting. We also have Card Cousins, which is our sister channel over here on YouTube.
Check it out.
The only sister we have. I want to know, when you're looking in some of these shops, what would be like your top of the line thing if money's no object? What is your holy grail of sports cards?
You know, I don't have any really sexy RPAs of Magic players, so I like to get that. And since we're in this era, I think an RPA of Paulo, Franz, Jalen would be sick. I saw one on eBay of Franz and Jalen on the same card.
Oh yeah, that's a nice one.
2 pieces of jersey, 2 autos, Franz and Jalen there.
Yeah.
I think it ended up going for like $2 to $3K, and I'm just not.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you are there, go to the Patreon. Do I have something to sell you? All right. Paulo and Franz will be in the Rising Stars game, and Paulo will be competing in the Skills Challenge Saturday night. Will you watch, Peach? Peach.
I won't because I'll be at work. But if I was home, I would probably watch it later, or at least watch some highlights. I don't mind that. I know you don't like it, but it's all right.
I don't know. I just guys running through cones, doing a layup, doing a pass. I don't know.
It's just goofy fun.
They have at least created the narratives of the team, which make it slightly more
better
interesting.
last year than the slam dunk contest.
Well,
and we had a guy in it. So
yeah, but all right, let's keep it moving.
Yeah. Well, we just had a great writer and Khobi Price on. I've always wanted to write a book.
Yeah.
I want to know. Would you edit it for me?
I will. I also want to know.
Yeah.
You got any titles? You got any workshop titles? Will it be called Squirrels on the Roof?
No. That'd be a chapter, though.
Okay. We are in the fan attic, and some squirrels just ran across the roof, which is why the joke was made. But you probably couldn't hear them, so it wasn't as funny for you.
If you can't hear him, it means that our audio quality is not up to his standards, and he's upset.
Oh, well. We have really good mics, thanks to the Patreons.
All right.
All right. Peach, I'd like an over-under on this. Court Cousins night. Hope to see all you second cousins there. How many adult beverages do you think I'll imbibe on Court Cousins night? Over-under.
Starting to wonder if maybe you wrote this one just because you wanted to say the word imbibe. It's a fun word.
It's such a good word to say.
This is tough, ladies and gentlemen, because it's not just beers for you. You like to drink those mixed drinks.
Oh, yeah.
And
whiskey on the rocks, baby.
I'm kind of relying on the fact that I know you're a hydrator.
I am.
So you're going to fill up, you're going to get some water in there. That's got to take up some space. I'm going to set it at 7.5, ladies and gentlemen, but there's room in the under, so think about it. There's room in the over.
There's room in the over. There is room in the over, because we're hoping to get together. We'll announce like where we're going to get together in the next couple of days before, and then we're going to party after. So there's time. And as I said, I drink water between every drink, so I try to keep it pretty good, but I'll still be probably in zombie mode by
Wait a minute. I totally forgot that we were going to be somewhere before.
Yeah. Nope. You got to move on. The last
over. I have a line for you based on our trip coming up. We're big jersey guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to set the line on jerseys.
Okay.
Bought by the Court Cousins team. I'm going to set it at 2.5. I know you're probably good for at least one.
I'm good for one only, so you're going to need to get at least 2, but I see that in you.
Okay.
I see that in you. So, yeah, I guess I would take the over on this. I'm just kind of done paying $100+ for a jersey.
Sure.
The quality, like, it's nothing stitched on anymore.
Right.
Nothing is high quality anymore. The prices go up and the quality's going down. So
yeah,
I get most of my jerseys online for like $40, and
sure.
you can't tell the damn difference. So but I will support the Orlando Magic store. All right, everyone.
You got to get one with a Disney patch.
I'll check the sales and I'll buy one jersey from the store. I don't know what it's going to be. Do you have one in mind? I need a Cole. Actually. It's going to be a Cole.
Yeah, I don't have a Suggs.
Okay.
But I also could be swayed on a bowl. The Wendell I have is only a throwback one. Yeah. So I could go a lot of ways here.
Okay. All right. And let us know, ladies and gentlemen, at Court_Cousins. Hit us up. We're going to be down from Wednesday night to I'm leaving Sunday, but Peach is staying through Tuesday.
Yes, I come back on Tuesday. It's a game Monday night. We're playing at the Pelicans. I want to watch it somewhere with somebody. A bar, your living room, your man cave.
Wherever.
Let's do it.
Hell yeah. And, we just want to kick it. Let us know. There's some spots that we should hit. Reach out to us. We want to press the flesh. We'll be doing a bunch of shooting. You could end up in an episode. So we hope to see all you down there in some hopefully sunshiny weather in Orlando, Florida, 1 week from today. Peace out, second cousins.
Thanks for coming. See you soon.